The views, opinions, and conclusions expressed in this podcast are those of the Dad Radio Hour and its various contributors, not necessarily those of Northern Illinois University or the Northern Star. The exact content of this podcast is not reviewed or approved by Northern Star prior to recording.
All right, guys, ready?
Oh.
So, on the count of three, we're all going to say our favorite love song ever written. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The Gambler by
Picture.
Kenny Rogers. Damn it.
Mine was Picture by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
your...
It's a really good love song.
what was yours, Tati?
The thong song?
The Thong Song?
That's not a love song, is it? I haven't listened to the lyrics. What are the...
It can be if you use it right.
Mine was The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. Okay.
Oh.
No, there's that Sea of Love by Cat Power is my favorite love song. If you guys have ever heard that.
Yeah, I think the Thong Song sounds cooler.
The song it does. That's why I didn't say that original one.
Anyway, guys, this is the Dad Radio Hour, episode 6.
Episode 6.
Pretty crazy. I think we're trying to start off something new then, too. Get a little house cleaning out of the way then as well, so we don't have these extra long intros of just trash like that one we just had. So anyway, Dalton, did you want to start off with something then?
Oh, I thought... Okay, when we rehearsed this, you started it. All right.
I'm sorry. Fine, I'll read it then.
All right, it's fine.
All right, so this is definitely not rehearsed at all. We didn't write this down. This is totally off the cuff.
He's just looking at a picture of me.
Hey, guys. The Dad Radio Hour is a free-form podcast produced by the Northern Star's editor, Tatianna Salisbury.
Tatianna Salisbury.
You can subscribe to our podcast via SoundCloud by visiting thenorthernstar.info. I said
Dot
visiting
info.
with a PH. I meant visiting. An audio version is available on that website, and a video recording is available on our YouTube channel at, I don't know why I'm pointing here, at Pool Noodle Entertainment.
And it would help if you didn't drop the picture of me. You can follow myself, Hayden, and Tatiana via social media handles linked in our description. And be sure to follow hashtag the Dad Radio Hour on Instagram for exclusive clips, teasers, and trailers at NIU Northern Star.
Dude, it really looked like you forgot where you were going with that sentence.
Honestly, I did. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, you can email our producer, Tatiana, at salisburytatiana@gmail.com, which we will also leave in the description.
That brings me to my first thing I wanted to mention. It got cut off last week with our tech fiasco that we had, but if you want to argue about Star Wars The Last Jedi, because I feel very passionately about it, with my Star Wars shirt that I was rubbing.
For the audio listeners, he
video
was
listeners,
rubbing
yeah.
his
If
rubbing
you-
his shirt.
I love Star Wars The Last Jedi. I think it is the second best Star Wars film next to Empire Strikes Back, and I love that it's contentious and people want to argue about it. So if you think you're strong enough in the Force, please come on and argue with us. Anyway.
I've kind of decided that Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars film.
I
think
going
it
to
has-
light you on fire.
It honestly has the best lightsaber battle in the entire series, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
The best? No, it doesn't.
It does. Anakin and Obi-Wan's lightsaber battle goes on for like 15 minutes. They're jumping around in lava. They're riding droids through the lava.
It is
Who
so-
else has done that in the show? No one.
It is okay. Well, one, it's a movie series, not a show.
Oh.
We gotta hand that back to Tatiana. Oh, she was
Shoot,
waving
sorry.
around. Okay,
Oh, Tatiana. Oh, my God.
Come on.
That just, people are going to
Tatiana,
hate that.
this is why we don't want you on the podcast ever. All you're supposed to do is produce it. Instead, you're dropping the mic, and not in the good way. Anyway, I love Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Then too, Revenge of the Sith does have a pretty sick lightsaber battle. But So what do you say we get into it, guys?
Yeah, we should do a little brief overview of what we're going to talk about today, because we always cover everything that we say we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Westworld and Season 2, which I haven't been able to see yet because I don't have HBO, and I'm too poor to afford it. We're going to be talking about a spider that lived to be age 43, the oldest spider known because researchers have been studying it for that long. That's a really cool story. Do not let me forget to talk about that story. We're going to play Will You Press the Button? We've got some dad jokes here.
Yeah, but beyond that then too, we wanted to talk about George R.R. Martin and him not doing what he's supposed to again, and some other Game of Thrones related topics then as well. But we'll see if we get to all those because we're really good at that.
I'd like to start with the Game of Thrones thing because I wanted to talk about George R.R. Martin. Is he really close to death like everyone says, or do people just say that?
I don't know. I mean, he's like, I don't want to sit and judge the guy because of his like his health that I don't know anything about. Then
Is that why people are just making claims? I've never actually looked into it.
No, honestly. So people are unsure of whether or not he's going to be able to finish the series then too, because in photos he is heavier and is old, and people are like, oh, he's going to die because he's unhealthy, which I don't think is necessarily a fair thing. But I think that somebody who is older as an author, especially a fantasy author in a genre that has a history of authors dying before they finish their works, it's natural that people will be like, come on, don't Robert Jordan us. Which, if you don't know who Robert Jordan is the guy who did The Wheel of Time, which is another series.
That's the
That's
prequel to Wheel of Fortune, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yep, it is. So that's another series that's also been on the docket then too. But Robert Jordan KO'd after a number of books, but he had planned on The Wheel of Time being originally a trilogy and ended up becoming like 13, 14 books. But he died before he finished it, and so somebody else had to. So I get it. I just don't think it's fair to like look at George R.R. Martin and go, you know what? You probably look like you're gonna die. That's just not cool.
You've actually read some of the books, right?
Yeah, I read all of them except for Dance with Dragons because I got so bored with it. So I honestly don't really care if Winds of Winter is not going to come out this year, because I just don't think it's ever going to come out, because I don't think he'll ever finish it because he just keeps backing it up and it keeps getting longer. But I just got so bored with Feast for Crows, which is the 4th book, and then by the time I got to Dance with Dragons, when you finally get to see, because the books are divided, those 4 and 5 are divided by like geography. So by the time you get to book 5, you're like, oh my god, I finally get to read about Jon Snow, and then stuff happens, and I'm like about 200 pages in, and I'm like, this is just so boring. I just don't care anymore, you know.
Plus, the
But
show is cast
it's
so well.
It's so good, and I think
That's-
they cut the corners where they really should have then too, because every new book introduces something new and doesn't wrap up enough storylines. So you're just kind of like, it's constantly growing, and while we're supposed to be approaching kind of the final bit here then too, it's like, it doesn't feel like there's an end in sight, which is just kind of a bummer, and I'm more inclined to just watch the show, which I feel, is that cheating on him because it's
No, I
originally
don't
his
think
work?
so. No, it's not. I don't think it's cheating on him.
I can't
They're
think of
just
many
doing a
cases.
Great job.
I can't think of many cases where I would prefer the digital media versus like the book, which I don't know how to feel about that. Like the Harry Potter movies are great, but I'm always gonna love the books more.
Yeah, you remember the book, The Kite Runner?
Yeah.
I saw the movie, and it was terrible compared to the book. And I just
Didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, there's a movie, and it's not as good as the book. Also, because of Winn-Dixie was a much better book than it was a movie.
Yes, it was.
And yeah, it's really hard for movies or TV shows to be better than books.
I think it really depends how they're done though. Like if the person making the movie is setting out to make a direct version of the book, you know, it's gonna be really, really hard because there's a lot of stuff. Like for example, with Game of Thrones, one of the core elements of Game of Thrones is George R.R. Martin writes what the characters are thinking, and so the best example I can think of with that then too is that they had to accommodate later on in Game of Thrones. Goodness sakes, I'm like out of breath. I'm talking so much. One of the best moments in Game of Thrones in the book series that I think the writers in the show really were able to pick up well and get back is when, spoilers, it's been out for a few years, when Tyrion kills Tywin, there's a line where he's like thinking it and he's like, I guess Tywin Lannister didn't gold after all. So they don't obviously can't have him like thinking out loud or I mean they could have him said it, but it would just been kind of tacky. So what they did was in the scene where Arya is in what's it called, Bravos, right? The Free City.
I think so,
like
yeah, with the man with many faces.
Yeah, and she goes to watch the play. That in that play they have that line, which is one of like the best lines of the books, and so they end up making and they knew it was a good line too, so they made up for it there. But like they went out and they didn't take a direct interpretation of the books. They managed to do kind of an expression of it then too, and make it their own in a way that I think is really, really, really good. But it just gets hard to do. I mean, for example, the Lord of the Rings books are super contentious with a lot of people, and I love the movies, but
I've never read any of those. I tried to read the first Hobbit book, but it was really boring.
it's like 100 years old. It seriously is like 100 years old, and it was written as a kid's book. And actually went back and was changed a bunch after he wrote it, became so popular, and he had told a bunch of stories that ended up being the Lord of the Rings.
Is Tolkien early 1900s or late 1800s?
Early 19.
Okay.
Yeah. So he ended up changing a bit, so it worked more as a prequel to the Lord of the Rings movies themselves. But anyway, so with Game of Thrones then too, I just wanted to kind of talk about how, it is a big bummer for a lot of people, and I understand why, that Winds of Winter is not going to be out again this year, and I bet it's not going to be out again next year. I don't think we'll see it till 2020. I really just don't. But really quickly, I wanted to talk about that. Maybe I think we I don't want to spend too much time on it because we can sit and talk about our expectations for the entire show for the entire half hour, which we don't want to do. But I just really wanted to quickly touch upon The Witcher, which obviously is made off the video game series and the book series. This is going to be a similar in style and interpretation of the book series that the video games are based off of. So it's going to be set before the games, and Netflix is doing it. It's 8 episodes for the first season, was confirmed the other day. I'm so excited. And then one that I'm very, very excited for is the Kingkiller Chronicles, which is done by Patrick Rothfuss. 2 of the 3 books in what are apparently a prequel to another series are out. And Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote
Hamilton,
is doing the music for it and is, I think, helping produce it then too. And the whole character of Kvothe in the series is a minstrel. So he's a musician, and it's a huge, huge part of his character is that he's a musician. So I literally almost cried when I found out about the movie and the TV show that they were doing.
Netflix is all over the place, man. They're getting literally everything.
That's Starz. Starz is doing Kingkiller Chronicles.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So yeah. Anyway, and the whole point is those guys are coming out right as Game of Thrones is ending because they're really trying hard to capitalize on the success of Game of Thrones now that it's finishing up, which I think is going to be a bit risky considering people might have gotten fatigued, but it's also probably the best opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, I'd say it's prime time because if they come out right after Game of Thrones ends, then you don't have to worry about facing off against them.
Yeah, unless Game of Thrones doesn't, for some reason, drops the ball, people might have a really bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah, well, the last season seemed really rushed.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
we can
we'll
devote
see
some
what
more
we'll
time to
see what
talking
happens.
about that because I don't want to spend an entire episode. I can complain about that forever.
That's fair. Hey, so do you want to go and move to some dad jokes, Hayden? Because I found some.
Sure, dude.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start us off.
Okay, all right, go ahead, man.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
So 2 peanuts were walking down the street.
Mhm.
One was assaulted.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Ooh, that was nice.
Sizzling. All right, dude. What is colorful and smart? You are. Just kidding. It's a brainbow. That was dumb. I'm sorry.
Fast food worker. Any condiments? Dad. Compliments? You look very nice today.
That wasn't even a joke. That was just like the dad heard the conversation wrong and then managed to salvage it. That wasn't. Hey, dude. Why do scuba divers fall backwards out of boats?
Why?
Because if they fell forwards, they'd still be in the boats. It was so
That was
stupid.
really dumb. I hate that one a lot.
Oh, man.
Okay, we'll do a couple more.
All right.
A 3-legged dog walks into a bar and says to the bartender, "I'm looking for the man who shot my paw."
What?
I don't get it. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm looking for the man who shot my paw. 3-legged.
Why would you
know what
share that?
means?
Why?
It's like paw, like an old western.
Who
like,
shot
you
my
shot,
paw?
Who shot my paw?
Oh, that's
but
a-
it's like a dog.
Why would you
Oh.
read a joke and you're like, I don't get it? You wouldn't proofread
Well,
these?
no, I didn't proofread them at all. I'll do one more. When you ask a dad if he's all right, no, I'm half left.
Dude, you have to find other sources for these jokes. Hey, Tati or Dalton,
Yes.
do you guys know who invented the round table?
No.
No.
Circumference. Right?
That one was good.
That's how you tell a dad joke,
That was
dude.
good. That was good.
All right, I got one more for it then.
Go ahead.
Why do you guys think that ghosts are banned from every liquor store in the country?
I don't
Why?
know. Why?
Because they steal all of the booze.
That was good.
You
That
guys
was good.
suck.
I'll do one last one.
What, you just pulling up? You didn't even
Last one.
God. You're just trying to find one now. You're like, I gotta win. I gotta find one better.
5 out of 4 people admit that they're bad. That they're bad with
You
fractions.
didn't even have to finish the joke, and everybody realized it was stupid.
Yeah, that's a dumb joke. All right, good. Congrats, Hayden. You won for the first time in the Dad Radio
I've
Hour.
never had this pleasure.
At doing these dad jokes real well. So congratulations. there.
Yeah. Let's talk about your stupid spider.
Yes. So I'm super excited about this spider. Well, actually, I'm very sad about it because the spider is no longer with us. I don't want to. My article. Keep on. Okay, there you go.
Jesus, man. This is why you plan ahead and organize this stuff in a document
So-
like I'm doing right here.
Well, the oldest known spider was killed by a wasp at the age of 43. Now that's real old.
Jesus
Yeah, a team of
Christ.
Australian scientists said that they were really miserable to discover that the world's oldest known spider was killed by a wasp. I hate wasps, so that makes
Waspy.
me hate them even more.
Waspy?
Yeah, Leanda,
What's up, Waspy?
Leanda Mason, lead author of the Curtin University study, published in the Pacific Conservation Biology Journal, said that the female trapdoor spider, which is a cool name for a spider, known as number 16, was 43 years old when it was killed.
That kind of sucks, actually.
Yeah, the previous record holder for the oldest spider was a 28-year-old Mexican tarantula, documented by researchers. They told the Daily Telegraph that they were hoping the spider would make it to age 50, and unfortunately, the trapdoor spider did not make it. But what I want to know is if they had it in a controlled environment, how did they let the wasp get to it?
I know. Are they really doing their jobs that poorly that a wasp gets in? Of all things, not even a mouse, not like a cockroach or anything, a wasp. They have to fly. They make noise. They're like...
Yeah, right, exactly. And also, crazy thing about this, Barbara York Maine, who's 88 right now, began studying number 16 shortly after the spider's birth in 1974.
Jesus.
So this one person has been with this spider for that long.
Do you know how disheartening it must have been for her to wake up and find that spider dead?
Oh, it must have been terrible, yeah.
You know, I used to hate spiders so much, and I still am uncomfortable around them. I had like severe arachnophobia when I was a kid. My mom used to have to come and like wake me up because I'd have nightmares that I was like covered in them. And I mean, it was bad for a while. I was a kid. I was only like 17, but it was fine.
There was this time when Hayden locked me, my mom, and I out of the house, and the only way that we could get back into the house was the window to the basement.
So the window well.
Yeah, the little window well, and that's what they're called.
The basement window.
Yeah, the basement window. And so I didn't want to go down there because I knew there were a bunch of spiders, but Hayden couldn't see that there were a bunch of spiders down there. So I convinced him to do it. And as soon as he jumped down, I've never heard you be more afraid in my entire life.
What does that mean, dude?
You just screamed real loud.
Is it I don't remember like. Oh wait, I remember doing this. Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't get out because I had to open the door because it was my fault we were locked out in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah, you had to get us back inside the house.
No, but spiders, honestly, so the best way that's helped me kind of get over my fear of them too was learning about them and learning what they're capable of doing. And so it is really unfortunate that this tarantula died, or trapdoor spider.
Spider, yeah.
Sorry, my bad, dude. But most spiders can't see, smell, hear, or like they can feel. See, smell, or
Emotionally and
hear.
physically.
Yeah, so they're like trap setters then too, which I mean obviously you look at a spider web, you're like, okay, well it gets caught in the web there. Well, they can't see that, they can't smell it or anything. They have all of their strings on their web, the spindle, whatever you want to call it, I don't know, attached to hairs on their leg, and they can tell which one is being yanked by a bug that's in there then too. So that's how they know where to crawl over there then.
So realistically, Spider-Man shouldn't be able to see or smell.
No, he shouldn't at all. The strength is one thing then too, but he should really just be able to shoot web out of his butthole like he does, out of his booty hole, and feel danger through his hairs, which is about it.
That'd be kind of cool.
He can like
actually.
throw cars with his eyes closed. Like, I don't know.
Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man.
He is so good.
Out of everybody. I'm very, very happy with him.
He's so good. So good.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to be talking about Infinity War here because it just came out, and we're going to be doing a spoiler cast about it after this.
And spoiler for the spoiler cast, I have a lot of strong opinions about it, and I'm sure that Tatianna and Dalton have very different ones. So if you want to witness an argument in a car accident, tune in. It'll be fun.
Yes, that will be the spoiler cast about Infinity War, which I'm very excited to talk about. But Hayden, would you like to talk about something else before Will You Press the Button, or do you want to play Will You Press the Button now?
Honestly, I just kind of wanted to talk about the Westworld premiere just for a second
Yeah,
then too.
go ahead, yeah.
So it premiered about 2 weeks ago then. I watched the first episode of it. Very good. If you guys have not watched Westworld, the first season is absolutely spectacular, which I think presents me with so much of an issue with the second season is while I'm excited for it, I just don't think I really care as much as I did with the first season, because the first season, the way it ends, it exists so well as its own separate thing. So a second season, I'm kind of like, all right, let's give it a shot. I cannot encourage you not to find a way to watch it then too. It's good. It's really good, and I'm going to go watch episode 2 probably tonight when we leave, but I don't know, man. I think it should have just been a one season thing.
Well, that's kind of like with the True Detective season 1. It's so incredible that when you go to the second season, it just doesn't live up to what it was for the first season.
But
Even
not for
though
the same reason. It has different characters. It's supposed to be a different story. Westworld season 2 is continuing the same thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Which, hold on, real quick, got me, and then we'll change subject, I promise. True Detective season 3 is actually in production, and I'm gonna cry.
That's with the guy from Moonlight.
Yep, Mahershala Ali is the lead in it then too, and then Scoot McNairy, which I don't know if you guys have watched Godless on Netflix. Scoot McNairy stars in Godless on Netflix with Michelle Dockery, who played Lady Mary Crawley in Downton Abbey, which I hate. It's actually I love it. I'm kidding. But Godless is a Western miniseries with Jeff Daniels as well, who I love.
From the Newsroom.
Yeah, from the Newsroom, and Steve Jobs, and I think like the Tilted Tower, not Tilted Towers.
He was on
what's that
Interstellar.
one? The Looming Tower. It's the new Amazon series.
I don't know.
But anyway, so Scoot McNairy is also one of the leads in that with Mahershala Ali, and the Cary Fukunaga is not coming back, but I can't remember. Nick Pizzolatto is the guy, remember, who wrote the first season and second season with Cary Fukunaga, is branching it out now to walk it back. So we should have a really, really good season that I'm hoping for so much, because the first season is my favorite thing of all time ever.
And
Matthew
Russ might
McConaughey's
come back.
Then I really hope he doesn't.
I think he should.
I don't think
Just
so
for
at all.
one episode.
No, I don't think he should at all.
Just to come in and just go, all right, and then he talks about his philosophy, and then he drives his Lincoln into the sunset.
A dream that you had.
I'll tell you what,
Inside
the
of
only
a
commercial that
box
ever
room.
gets to me is the Lincoln commercial. I always want to buy a Lincoln after I see Matthew McConaughey in one. You don't think he looks cool?
Eh.
He looks so cool. He's so
I mean, I
dressed.
love him,
He's
but
dressed well, and he's like
I just
playing
don't
with a
want a
booger
Lincoln.
and whatever he's doing.
He's not playing with a booger.
He's playing with something in his hand.
You know what we should play with, dude?
What? Buttons.
A button. Go,
All
hit me.
right, so we're going to do Will You Press the Button? And Tatiana, you should hop in on some of this as well.
Get on the mic, girl.
Here we go.
Even though you're not in the
Woo, woo, woo,
camera,
woo, woo.
you're still here in our
If I make a
hearts.
noise like that again, I want somebody to slip my throat on there. I want it to be filmed and put on the Northern Star website.
I will.
Yikes. That would get some traffic.
It would.
That would get some traffic. All right. So, for people who don't know, if you're just tuning into this for the first time, Will You Press the Button is played like this. We're given a scenario, and if we accept it, and we press the button, it means something else happens. So you have to choose if you want to press the button or not.
That was like the most
really lame way to describe it.
accurate description of that game.
All right, so you are able to see in the dark, but you cannot see yourself in mirrors.
So I'm a vampire?
I don't
I
spend
guess.
a lot
That's
of
what
time
vampires
in
are.
the
Kind of,
dark.
but you're just not. You don't have like a bloodlust or anything.
Yeah,
I don't-
sure, absolutely. Absolutely.
Think about this though, Hayden. You wouldn't be able to tell if you look good for the day.
That's why I have somebody to follow me around. I pay them.
You'd pay them to. Where's this money coming from?
I
You're
use my
seeing in the dark
talent.
business.
I'm a vampire, dude.
You're not a vamp. Nowhere in this is say you're
I
a
can
vampire.
see in the dark, man.
I would
Yeah, but
take the.
cats can see in the dark, and they're not freaking vampires.
Cats are nearsighted. That's why they run into walls, dude.
It doesn't matter. They can see in the dark.
Barely.
So you okay? Tatiana, what did you say?
I would take seeing in the dark and not seeing in mirrors, because I could just see myself in a webcam and
Oh, that's a
You know?
loophole.
Dun dun dun.
That's
Think about
true.
it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
All right,
done.
cool.
Easy.
I'm
Free
taking
talent.
it too. We're pressing the button. All right, we are with the majority, 57%.
Yeah, because
So-
who doesn't want to see in the
good
dark?
job,
Nobody
guys.
cares about their own image.
Okay, you will be able to see the future. So instead of seeing the dark, you can see the future, but you won't be able to change it. See, that's always the catch-22 with being able to see the future if you're like a psychic, right?
Nope.
never.
I would
I
hate
wouldn't-
that. So, okay, if you could see your own death, would you do it?
No.
You know who did do it though?
Who?
Just kidding. We'll talk about it in our Infinity War spoiler cast.
dang. That All right, we're not pressing
Yeah,
the
no,
button.
no
No
way.
way.
No.
All right, so we're at the majority, 65%. We'll go
Who would
to
want that? Who wants to see the future and not be able to change it?
maybe if they're just curious. Well, yeah, it'd be really
What,
depressing.
one in
if,
3 people are going to be like, yeah, you know what? I think I want to see how my life is going to suck and not be able to do anything about it.
Yeah,
I want to see how I die.
Yeah, that would be really. It'd be really
You,
bad.
like imagine you see yourself dying in a car accident, and you know when it is. So you get into your car that day, knowing you're gonna die that day.
Or if you try to avoid it somehow, you end up causing the accident to happen.
So
Yeah.
you just Final Destination
It's
it.
Final Destination. You can't escape death. Anybody out there, PSA, you can't escape it.
God, people, I don't want to see the future. That's the best part about not knowing what's happening. Is not knowing what's happening.
Well, exactly. It's like that episode of Black Mirror. Have you guys seen the one with like the
Show's amazing.
the relationship timers on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you,
That's probably my favorite episode.
so if you don't press it, that's the longer you have with somebody. But the second you press it, you give yourself the expiration date. It's not the system; it's you.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
that was
I
a
love
super cool
love
episode.
that episode.
It's pretty sweet, dude.
What was that called? That was in season 4, but I can't remember the name of
I
it.
don't remember
In
either.
Time?
Was that what it is?
No, that's that crappy Justin Timberlake movie where
I
he
love
has like
that
he
movie.
like pays for stuff with minutes from his life. That movie was so stupid.
It's good, great soundtrack though. Okay, you become famous and loved by everyone, but your family hates you a lot.
Sure.
One more time.
You become famous and loved by everyone, but your family hates you a lot.
Is it my family that's like immediate, or can I like make more family? And
I think it would be family in general.
for the rest
but
of my
it
life.
doesn't
So
say in the
even if
future.
even if I make family,
No, I think if you make family, you'd be okay. It says, but your family hates you a lot. That just seems like in the present.
I don't trust
well,
that dude.
hates is different than disowns, so I would press it.
You press it?
I would
Become famous?
wait. I would
No,
become
I'm not
famous.
doing it.
I would become famous.
I don't
I'm
think
not
I do it.
pressing
I
it.
don't think I press it.
I do it.
All right, so we're taking the majority there. So, we're with the minority, Hayden, 48%. Yeah,
Oh.
most people are like Tatiana.
Like, yeah, my family
that.
sucks. who pushes this button? 15-year-olds?
A lot of
My family hates me. My mom hates me anyway. I want to
Uh,
be famous.
Just a girl with a really bad relationship with her father.
Hey, I have a
So-
bad relationship with mine. Look at us.
You're a girl
I am
too?
my bad relationship with
Why
my
then?
father.
All right, next. We'll do a couple more. All right, you can switch the lights on and off.
With what?
It's just
My
awesome.
hands.
But
That's what I do now.
you will be blind in 1 minute after every time you use it.
That
doesn't make any sense. What?
So
There's
what? I
no
can't turn the
incentive.
light switch on?
Well,
What, what's the
we're
point?
just- I don't know. We're not
Like-
gonna, we're not gonna think. Oh,
You're
this is
you're
what the app
blind
does.
as soon as you turn the lights off. Do you push the button?
I've got a ad on here. I can't even go to the next one. It's
Gosh.
Sudoku. Have you guys ever played Sudoku?
I hate Sudoku. I
I
love
hate it
puzzles,
too.
but Sudoku makes me so mad.
That was
Oh
a
my
dumb one, so we're going to this
gosh.
next one. You're gifted with a virtual mastery in the sport of your choice. What sport would you choose?
A virtual mastery.
Virtual mastery, which is weird.
What's a virtual mastery?
I guess.
Like esports?
Yeah, I guess in a game, you're just like really good at a sport.
Let's
and
just say
Basketball.
let's just say mastery of a sport that you choose.
Oh.
Sure. Yeah.
Sport,
let's do it.
soccer for real life sports.
But
Soccer,
what's
okay.
what's the caveat, dude?
yeah, what's,
Oh, I wanted to know what you'd pick first.
yeah.
I want to know
I
what
want to know what I'm
what
giving
sport
up.
we pick.
What am I
Yeah. What
giving up?
sport? I'd pick football. You'd pick soccer. What would you pick?
Me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You talking to me
Yeah, you
Mhm.
pick soccer.
about
okay.
a sport?
All right, but you die 12
Wait,
years.
I didn't get to
and-
say. All right, well
Okay, go
now I
ahead.
know the caveat. So
You die 12 years and 27 days after pressing the button. Nobody discovers how.
Oh, no.
what do you mean,
Okay, I'm gonna have to beep that.
Tati?
Darn it! I was hoping I could go an entire episode without having to beep something.
Now you have two.
Wait, did you do one too?
Yeah, I said the S word for the line.
Did you
for the
really?
sake for the sake of the line. Yeah, Tywin Lannister bleeps gold.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
yeah, but
And I
that
go,
one was
"Ah."
like this is a core. This is important. Tati is just a loose cannon cop with nothing to lose. What was the question? Go back to it. So you're great at a sport,
You're gifted with
Okay.
a virtual mastery in the sport of your choice, but
but
you die 12 years and 27 days after pressing the button. I don't know why it's 27 days.
can
It's oddly specific.
can I be a master at the sport when I'm 70?
No, because if you did it now, you die 12 years
What
later.
if I just hold the button? What if I just like keep the button and I'm like, you know what? I think I want to be a professional pool player.
You would hold the button for 50 plus years.
I would hold the button for 50 plus years, and then I would go, you know what? I think I want to be a professional pool player or a professional poker player, and then make a ton of money, be really popular, and then give it all to my dog, and watch my family go, what?
How does that work? I know that's happened in real life, right?
I don't know.
Where someone has left their fortunes to an animal.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. You'd have to ask a professional.
Yeah. Well, we're not pressing the button. We're with 71% of people that didn't.
Yeah, why would
We'll
you
do
do that?
one more, okay?
Uno más.
One more. Press the button, and that is going to be, if this loads,
Push the button.
you become a guard of any faction in any fictional universe of your choosing. Ooh. But you take an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, fine, done. Hobbit.
One more?
Sign me up.
One more time?
You become a guard of any faction in any fictional universe of your choosing, but you take an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, Stormcloaks for Skyrim.
Could you imagine taking an arrow to the knee, though?
Yeah,
You
An
can't recover
arrow
from that.
to the knee.
You
do you know
cannot
how
recover from
many people used to be adventurers until they took an arrow to the knee? So many. And look, they're still alive, and they're soldiers. They're guards of
Are
holds.
we talking
I don't
the
think-
arrow goes straight in, like, or at an angle? Because if it's at an angle, it's a lot easier. Straight in.
Oh
Straight
no,
in,
it's
straight
cracked.
in.
it's in. Your
It's
knee
gonna-
is pretty much just ruined. If you run, you're gonna hurt yourself then too. So all you're pretty much good for is standing there.
Yes.
Well, I would have wanted to go into the Marvel universe, but I wouldn't be able to run, so this is pointless. So no,
Why do you want to go into the Marvel universe?
I want to
I
be.
think you misunderstood the question.
You said a universe.
You become a guard of any faction in any fictional universe. So I guess she could go.
So you want to be
she
a
could go into
guard for the
Yeah,
Avengers?
she could go into Marvel.
I want to be a guard for the people that Avengers.
Oh my
can-
God, that is such a lame stretch of this question.
Nope.
No, I get it.
That's what I
Like,
want.
I want to be a guard to
No,
the people,
Every
and I'm a
time
wizard.
I watch those movies, I think, like, what are the people in Starbucks doing when aliens invade?
Yeah, true. Probably finishing up their novel.
Yeah,
And
probably
then,
their screenplays.
yeah, do
Like,
you-
but no, but like, do
So-
they die? Like, who lives?
so
What
y-
pedestrians? I want to know.
So
You
many
want to be a
die.
private security force or a cop then
yes.
in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
So you want to be somebody in a universe where they can blow up buildings and you don't get that ability and you have to live in fear that they're going to crush your office building one day and you're going to die.
That would be really
I
terrifying.
wouldn't be a normal pedestrian. I would be a pedestrian with inside knowledge. I would be like an FBI agent within Marvel,
That
but
wasn't-
not S.H.I.E.L.D.
That wasn't what was stated. That wasn't the question. You're expanding too much on this question.
We're not pressing the button, anybody.
Because
arrow
I'm
to the
pressing
knee,
the
that's
button.
ridiculous.
I am pressing the crap out of the button.
No one recovers from an arrow to the knee.
Yes.
No
Look at
one does.
Skyrim. Everybody recovers from an arrow to the knee. Do you know how many arrows I've gotten in the face and I'm fine? Everybody in that game tells me they used to be an adventurer until they took an arrow to the knee. I am gonna do this. I'm pushing the button so I can
press
be.
it, press it,
All right.
press it.
Yeah. Yes.
Ah, you're with 58%.
What did I tell you?
All right, that will conclude. Will you press the button?
And my on-screen taste test of Mountain Dew Ice because I had no idea what it was.
Is it, I'm going to guess. Is it essentially Sierra Mist or Sprite?
Yep.
Is it really? Nice. Yes.
I cracked it open. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, this is just Sprite. But it does have a splash of real juice.
Ooh, what juice is it, though? Tune in next week to find out. Do you,
Clam juice.
ew.
Palm juice.
Do you wanna talk about any last minute things? We're quickly running out of time here, Hayden.
No, I don't really want to talk about anything in particular. I do want to say, good luck, everybody. We're coming to finals week.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this, thank you for making it this far.
Mm-hmm.
And may the force be with you.
We can do this. All of us can do this. We will pass. We will succeed, and I will graduate.
As Dalton and I like to say, before we go into a test or a paper, come back with your notebook or on it. Thank you, guys. Good
Thank
night.
you very much.